Hey there, Survivor fans. This is Kevin from the Survivor Super Fun Time Show. It's going to be an unusual episode of the Survivor Super Fun Time Show. It's going to be a little truncated, admittedly, and that's because, honestly, I don't want to delay this episode being released any more than I already have at this point. It's about to be Tuesday when this is released. I have been away pretty much ever since Survivor 46, Episode 5 aired. So I've been gone. My mind hasn't been on Survivor, even though I've been thinking about it, baby. Don't you worry about that. But I've been able to actually, do anything. WrestleMania, I'm a wrestling fan, and the WrestleMania was just in Philadelphia, my hometown. And I had a big boys weekend. So I've been concentrating on that instead of making a video for this. But I love you all. I love this channel and I love doing what I do. So I still have to make sure that I have a video that I can put out right now for the rest of you all before I get ready to go to work in the morning. So we're going to do kind of a quicker recap of Survivor 46, Episode 6, and it's going to be great. I'll give you my quick hit notes on what I think is going on in the game. I mean, big thing, the MERGATOry is when you have the one tribe that is hoping to become merged at some point. They split into two different tribes based on random rock draw. One of them is safe, the other one is not. Both go to tribal council anyway. Of course, unless you have an hourglass and then everything doesn't matter. However, this episode, we have Nami, Signa, and Yanu meet together. Yanu obviously decimated up to this point in the season, down to 3 people, Kenzie, Q, and Tiffany. Then you have Signa, who just got done voting out their first player. Maria burned her extra vote. Jem kicked out of the game with the idol. Then you have Nami, who hasn't lost anything, but they did lose Randon because he was pulled from the game. Now, the big thing that's going on for this episode is, 1, the fallout of Signa after the Jem vote. Mariah is the only one that did not vote, along with the rest of Signa, to get rid of Jem. So they really have to navigate that as they meet up with the other tribes. Nami, they don't really like Venus. They kind of hate her. So they have to figure out how to make that work. In Venus, it's a new lot on life. And Yanu, they just have to sit around and play the middle for the most part. And I think that's what they did. Before they can merge, the big thing on Nami is Hunter, who had found the Beware advantage an episode earlier, needs to go and get it, essentially. Now that the tribes are going to be on one beach, he has to go and basically dig up the clue. And the clue ends up telling him essentially that your key is at the steps near your camp. It was so transparent. It's maddening because Jem had to get machete and measure things around camp in units of machete, which is not a unit, and she figured it out and did a math equation. Tiffany had to break some kind of World War II Navajo code in order to get the key for her idol. And then Hunter is basically go to the stairs and dig around a little bit. And I thought that was silly. And I was just like, what? Ever since Survivor 45, they've introduced varying degrees of how difficult it is to find your camp's idol. And it's wild. So not to delay too much, the MERGATOry, they get together. They find out that essentially Nami has cracks everywhere, thanks to Venus for the most part. And Kevin, who keeps telling everyone we don't like Venus. So there's a lot of potential there for Yanu to find their way in. Now they get to the actual MERGATOry challenge. They do a random rock draw. Essentially, it's a pretty imbalanced team, at least on paper. It looks like it would be imbalanced if you were to throw a dart at what challenge you're going to perform. The one team we're going to call Team A probably would do the best. And that's all the boys minus Charlie plus Kenzie. And then versus the other team, which is all the girls minus Tiff and Kenzie plus Charlie. So really, it shook out in a really poor way. Tiff didn't get a rock, but she chose basically the boys' tribe to win the challenge. And they did. And they got their buffs, this beautiful Gecko Island buff that I'm wearing right now, because I don't know the name of the actual tribe. I don't know if they have one yet. They end up going to a journey. They eat, they feast, and they throw out some names. And that was kind of interesting because Q really kind of exerts himself in a very interesting way. I think Q doesn't do well with power in a game like this. He can be decisive, which is great because there's a lot of leaders that are indecisive, but I don't know if Q is any good at not being in power. And how he navigates these difficult conversations, even the 3-way alliance that he had made on the journey an episode or 2 before, even how he's navigating them uniting up, I think is a little questionable moving forward. But essentially everyone gets on the same page. I mean, Signa is trying to come in as 5 strong, let everyone know they're not going to vote against each other. Venus, everyone is on board essentially to get rid of Mariah. Now, they didn't know she was on the bottom, but they're like, well, Aubrey Bracco's a favorite player, so we should probably get rid of her. And that was Q's doing, which is not a good reason, but sometimes you don't need a good reason. You just need a reason, right? Now, I want to let you all know, I've thought about this a lot because the question comes up, who can you throw out there to be the player that you like the most or idolize the most that would be the least threatening? I have the answer. Straight up, the answer is Benjamin Coach Wade. Benjamin Coach Wade should always be your answer because Coach is arguably the most average competitor to ever play Survivor. And I say that with love because getting to average out of like 500, 600 people who ever played the game, pretty good. However, he is also someone who people don't take very seriously. They love him as a character, but they don't take him very seriously. So if you say Coach and you mean it, then everyone's going to go, oh, he means it. And he is definitely delusional if that's what they chose as their favorite player. So that's a tip for the future. Anyone who plays the game, if anyone ever asks me, I'm going to say Coach. Okay, just to be clear. And interesting in these discussions, everyone kind of comes to an agreement that it's going to be Mariah going. But Venus, for some reason, who is vulnerable, is like, why wouldn't we just vote out Charlie? Because we should vote out a boy. There's 7 boys and 6 girls. We should vote out the boy. And it's very interesting because Venus is talking like she's from a bargaining position, and she's not. She's on the bottom of Nami. She's been on the bottom of Nami. And for anyone who is curious why, I mean, yeah, ask yourself, why was she at the bottom of Nami for like 10 or 11 days? And coming into the merge, it doesn't seem like it's going a lot better, where she's trying to strong-arm Tim and Signa into giving her a name. I mean, I respect the effort, no question. I mean, I think to some degree she's doing what she needs to from a black and white standpoint of trying to get names from the other tribe come merge. However, her tact with people seems to be terrible, like not good at all. I mean, again, Nami, if they don't like her, there's a problem there. I mean, I guess she could be the least likable of that 6, and maybe that's how it came about rather than her just being bad. But I have a feeling based on her discussions that she doesn't do well while being in the minority position in a social standing. That's my guess. It sounds like it's been a fairly consistent thing since the beginning of 46 and on. However, she's a wonderfully interesting character that I've enjoyed watching up to this point. And to some degree, I understand why she wants to target Charlie instead of Mariah. She's like, well, we need to get rid of Signa. Let's get rid of Charlie. And I think Charlie has long-term potential in the game. I think he has Final Four potential in the game. So it's not a bad choice, but it's just interesting that Venus from this episode thinks that she can kind of dictate where it's going to go. And Venus, I see as a 0-vote finalist. Like, if she keeps this up, she may last a really long time, but she's not going to win anything. It's going to be the most guaranteed surefire loser to go into the final 3 at this rate. But I don't think she's going to last much longer anyway. She's probably going to overplay her hand too much. And I actually respect that. It's a blaze of glory strategy. I just don't think it's a winning strategy. Like, if I could throw a dart at the picture of the person that I thought had the least chance to win the game right now, it's probably Venus. But Venus, they go to Tribal Council. She escapes the hangman's noose, essentially. And Mariah, you know, she throws Signa under the bus. She lets them know last minute, everyone, that actually we weren't a united front. I voted with Jem, and I'm ready to make a move. Didn't work out. She even played her shot in the dark. Didn't work out. All the magic was used up by Caleb in 45, I guess. And Mariah, unfortunately, was voted out of the game. And, you know, it continues on. Yanu gets to sit in the middle. Kenzie did a great job this episode. Tiff did a great job. Q, again, I think he's going a little too hard. I mean, there's some people out there that I think have really awesome long-term potential. Ben is one of those people. Maria, her threat level went down like this immediately, one episode to another. Although, next episode, they're going to have individual immunity. There should be 2, probably. I think Maria is arguably the number 1 threat to win that challenge based on what I saw. So I wouldn't be surprised if it increased. Hunter is the one you really got to look at. If Hunter wins an individual immunity right away, he's on the clock. He's on the clock, baby. I know he's got an individual idol, but he is on the clock. So for his sake, it's probably best that he does not win immunity. Because you know what you're going to turn into? You're going to be Joe Anglem. Do you know who's not good at Survivor? Joe Anglem. It's just you can never make it that far if you're going to be that much of a threat. And that's the truth of it, unless you have amazing relationships and you're stacked. Because a lot of people compare Hunter to like a Joe Anglem or Jonathan from Survivor 42 being physical. Really, a great comparison right now is Austin Lee Kuhn from Survivor 45, and which, by the way, he's going to be my guest recapping Survivor Episode 7 from Season 46, this upcoming episode, which is going to be really wonderful. But Austin, he had great relationships with his initial tribe. He found an idol. He actually found 2. He avoided losing his vote a bunch of times, which Hunter has not done yet at this point. But he had an alliance that brought him to the end. Hunter may have that. He may. But if I'm Hunter, I'd be a little nervous because Austin got his first win a little bit later in the merge. So Hunter, if he comes out of the gate winning immunity, it's a problem. But I'm enjoying the season so far at this point. I think it's going super, super well. I'm excited to see the game hype up a little bit. The Yanu, Tika 3, whatever you want to call it, that's really getting exciting, how that's shaping up. And I really think that Kenzie or Tiffany probably have the greatest potential to win the game still at this point. So I'm excited to see how it shakes out, admittedly, because this is a really fun vibe. And if you watch this channel, you know that every week we have the winner of Survivor 43, Mike Gabler of Octopus Island, gives his Survivor 46 Hiding in Plain Sight award winner. You got another great one for you this week. Let's check it out.
Hiding in plain sight!
Hey there, super fun time, folks. It's Gabler here, the Gabler, and I'm giving you my hiding in plain sight pick of the week. I'm going to put down Hunter because Hunter not only rocked the challenge, he didn't have a vote, he somehow found an idol, he kept it all under wraps, and was a part of every conversation about where the votes were going, and nobody was putting his name down or even considering him. So, bravo to you, Hunter. Hiding in plain sight pick of the week. Gabler out. Bye-bye.
Hiding in plain sight!
Yeah, I totally agree with him on this one. I mean, this pick was awesome. I mean, right now we're on a little bit of a streak. Maria from last week was his pick of the Hiding in Plain Sight award winner, and I think it's been proven to be correct. I mean, Maria, her threat level went down entirely, and I think this pick, there's great potential for that to go around again this episode, but we'll have to see. They really have to focus on their threat level being kept down, but I'm honestly not very confident that's going to be the case in the next episode or two, so let's hope. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching Survivor Super Fun Time Show. Can't wait. Again, remember, we're going to be doing a recap with Austin Lee Kuhn from Survivor 45 in this upcoming episode. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. Look out for it to be released around Friday or Saturday after episode 7 airs. But that's going to do it. Hope you all have an amazing day, everyone. You take care. Keep it super fun.